what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2000 GMC Jimmy Envoy Diamond Edition. Up front is a 4.3 liter V6 that has been supercharged, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this vehicle here today for two reasons. First of all, it's supercharged. I've never driven a supercharged S platform from GM before. Now it is of course an aftermarket supercharger. It's been done by one of the previous owners, but it's going to be a fun experience. The second reason I'm excited is because the Diamond Edition is pretty rare, although it's not super special, and we'll talk about it throughout the rest of the video. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. We'll set up a time wherever you are in the country. But let's get back to that supercharged 4.3 liter. Well, the Diamond Edition only got the 4.3 liter V6. There was also a 2.2 liter inline 4 offered in this chassis of vehicle, whether that be the Blazer, the GMC Jimmy, the Oldsmobile Bravada, vehicles like that. But this one does have an aftermarket supercharger put onto it. How does it feel with the supercharger? I can't tell a bloody difference. It is quicker, but you don't notice anything different while driving. Because the supercharger is so linear, it adds power where the normal power would be. It's not like a turbo where it'll throw you back into your seat and go, what? It just intensifies everything. It moves that saturation bar ever so slightly. Now, the 4.3 liter has always been a good engine. I've always enjoyed it in all the vehicles that I've driven it in. It makes about 190 horsepower stock, but again, that supercharger adds power. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic transmission, better known as the 4L60E from GM, that is currently begging for its life. Now, most 4L60Es are begging for their lives anyway, but this one is extra screaming because of that supercharger. The shifts are pretty hard, and well, they don't really get along too well. Last but not least, this particular GMC Jimmy is 4-wheel drive, and we'll talk about how to select that later on, but of course you could find 2-wheel drive in the era. So how does it feel to drive the GMC Jimmy Diamond Edition? Well, like I said, it drives like most other Jimmys. Obviously, this one is a little bit quicker, but not as quick as you would think. If I didn't tell you it was supercharged and you drove it, I'm not totally sure you would have been able to tell. However, what I've always loved about GMC Jimmys is the great visibility. I like how smooth it is, and overall, it's a good driving experience. Not too big, not too small, and I've always liked them. Before we move on to the interior, let's talk about the Diamond Edition. What the heck is this? Well, it was just offered for $2,000, and it is basically an appearance package. And when I say basically, it is an appearance package. So on the exterior, you'll see the front bull bar and the Envoy specific headlights. You'll see the side steps and of course the Diamond Edition side plating. And then on the inside here, you'll notice it has wood trim dash, white needles in the gauges for the Envoy, and of course the Diamond Edition door panels and Diamond Edition seats. So this was a sort of special package you could get back in the year 2000 straight from GM. But let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me I have those white needled gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and oil pressure. Then I have my tachometer and speedometer in the center, and off to the right is my fuel and battery voltage. The steering wheel does have buttons on it, which wasn't super common in the year 2000. So off to the left we have program and seek, and off to the right we have mute and volume, but GM has always been on the cutting edge for buttons on the steering wheel. And off to the left we have a climate control vent, our headlight switches, gauge dimmer switches, and the fog lights. On the door, we have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows, as well as, of course, like I said, we do get that Diamond Edition specific door card. I really, really like the stitching. This vehicle only has 51,000 miles on it, so the stitching is still nice, prim, and proper, and I enjoy seeing that. Moving into the center, we get 2 climate control vents to the right of the 4-wheel drive setting. So we have 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, as well as 4-wheel drive auto if you'd like to use that, of course, but I've been driving it around in 2 high. Down below that, we have an aftermarket radio that has been swapped out, as well as our rear wiper and rear hatch release found up here on the dash. Very interesting placement. Down below, we do have our climate controls. We have our temperature in the center, fan speed to the left, where to send it off to the right, AC, rear defrost, things like that. Nothing too crazy here, but definitely nice options to see. Then we do get a 12-volt outlet surrounded by 2 more 12-volt outlets. I don't know why they hid 2 and show you 1. Very, very strange, but very cool to see. Down below, we do have a 6-disc CD changer, one of the highlights of the Diamond Edition as well. Very, very neat. Ashtray with the cigarette lighter in it, and the shifter. The shifter is a very run-of-the-mill GM shifter. Nothing really new or interesting here. And I have a tow haul mode button off to the left on the shifter. Very nice. And you get this nice wood accent. Then we do have pop-out cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2000 GMC Jimmy Envoy Diamond Edition, and unfortunately it fails, to be expected out of any cup holder that pops out. Then we do get a center console with a little tray in it that you can remove for more storage space, and what you're seeing now, those are the cartridges for the 6-disc CD changer. Very, very cool to see that. Moving on to the seats, of course, the seats are diamond stitch for the Diamond Edition. They are also power seats, and they are heated, which is very, very cool to see for the year 2000. All of those controls are found on the left side of the driver's seat, and they are very comfortable. I've enjoyed my time sitting in it, driving in it, and loving these seats. Not only do they look good, but they feel good too. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Supercharged 2000 GMC Jimmy Envoy Diamond Edition, and a couple of things to note. First of all, the floor is pretty high up, and I've said this in my Blazer, Jimmy, all the videos of this chassis, I've always said that. The floor is pretty high up, so you sit in more of a squatting position. The diamond stitching does carry on fully back here, and what I mean by fully is the door cards have the diamond stitching, and the seats have it as well. So very, very cool that they did continue that. Sometimes special editions do like cool red seats up front and then mundane black cloth in the back. So very, very nice to see that they carried that through. Knee room's fine, headroom's fine, and down in the center, I do have controls for the stereo as well as another ashtray and 12-volt outlet. Otherwise, it's not a super crazy back space, but it's very, very cool, and I'm very happy to see that they did carry on that diamondness into the back and not just up at the front. Let's talk about the back in terms of cargo space and trunk. All right, around the back of the GMC Jimmy Diamond Edition, couple of things to note. First of all, big button right here, pop this up and we can just open up the rear glass. Absolutely love when hatchbacks and SUVs do that. And here we have the back space, but that is just to show you that. Let's pop this down, pop the full trunk open, and we have a couple of really cool things. First of all, we do have this really big privacy cover that actually goes left to right. Normally, privacy covers go from the back to the front. You pull it this way, which is really nice. However, when you put the seats down, now you have this giant bar going across that you can't really do anything with. GMC thought of that, and so they have it coming off from the side, so when it is retracted, it's not going to mess up anything. Or if you put the seats down, you don't have to remove an ugly bar. Off to the right here, we do have some on-off buttons for the onboard air compressor. So GM in this era, they did it in a couple of their vehicles. I recently drove a Buick Terraza minivan that had it. They actually had onboard air compressors for filling up tires, inflatables, air mattresses, things like that. That is very, very cool, and that is all ran right there. Of course, 12-volt outlet. Tons of space in the back of the GMC Jimmy. I've always loved that about these cars, and that is very true here in the Diamond Edition. Pull cord here, just like you're on a bus. There you go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and of course the Diamond Edition does get some special parts put onto it, which I don't love. I'm not a huge fan of the bull bar. I'm not a huge fan of the headlights, but I think as a unique vehicle, as something you don't see anymore, something that was so special even back in its day, it's very, very cool to see. And I'm glad that Will has kept this stuff on the Diamond Edition for me to show off to you today. Overall though, I don't think it's like the most pretty or handsome vehicle ever built ever. It's just kind of here, and I don't mind it too much. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving yet another GMC Jimmy Envoy Diamond Edition? Because yes, I have driven one here on the channel before. It's been over half a decade since I did so. So I was excited to get back in the seat. The Supercharger was interesting to me, and just get another solid video of a rare car. Well, I do like this car. I don't love it. I like it. I think it's unique. I think it's interesting. But here's the thing. Back in the day, in the year 2000, the GMC Jimmy was not selling super well. I mean, they sold decent, but they weren't this cash cow for GMC. One of the problems was the fact that it was just a rebadged Blazer or Bravada. It just seemed like one of those check-a-box cars. It didn't really have its own unique identity. It was rather mundane. So GMC decided to make something special, to take their mundane GMC Jimmy and make it something unique, make it something that stands out. Now, they didn't spend the whole house worth of cash on this thing, and they did some things here and there, but they did. They made it special, and now collectors of this chassis of vehicle, like the owner will, they seek out the diamond editions because they are, quite frankly, diamonds in the rough. But I think this car is a good metaphor, honestly, for life. This special car came out of something that most people wouldn't glance at twice. And so that's what I have for you today. Don't try too hard to find the special moments. The special moments will find you. And more often than not, they'll find you when you least expect it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Will for letting me take out his Diamond Edition GMC Jimmy Envoy. I have worked with him for years and years and years and years and years now. I have lost track of how many cars we've reviewed together. Will is always so great to work with. Simple, efficient, down to earth. He really knows these cars too, which is always a great, great help to me. And I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.